This video was brought to you in part by the supporters of the AMTV Patreon. Thank you. Hi there guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome to the second Christmas edition of the Sunday Catch-Up. First of all, thank you very much to everyone who watched the first Christmas edition, and thank you for all your questions. The feedback's been really positive, really heartwarming to see, and it's just nice to be answering your questions again. So, without more dillying from me, let's get into your questions. So, Macra says, what are your plans for the channel for 2022? I'll be completely honest, I haven't given it a great deal of thought as of yet with the Christmas gig I've got going on, the Polar Express, and then I've got some other commitments that are taking me into early 2022, non-YouTube related. But I haven't really thought about what I want to do for the channel as a whole. I think I want to try and venture more into like the documentary style videos, sort of like the history of Doctor Who viewing figures. Not necessarily exclusively about Doctor Who, but I want to do more like long form documentary style content. Obviously, probably doing that would mean there's less time for regular uploads, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Following on from last question, do you have any new series of big videos in the pipeline? Not necessarily. I think I mentioned last time about the 100th episode of the ident review. I want to try and get that out in time, or maybe before, who knows, for the show's 4th anniversary, which would be May 2022. But aside from that, I haven't really got anything big planned. I have ideas, but nothing I've, begun. And what's your favourite video that you've made in 2021? That's a question. I worked out the other day, I've made over 200 videos this year, which is quite frankly insane, and I'm insane for doing it. I don't think there's been a specific one video, but probably the history of Doctor Who viewing figures has been the biggest passion project this year. At the start of the year, I think we were on season 7, and we got all the way through to season 26, and do you know what? I'm genuinely proud of myself for having completed it, and you know, in 2022, I do hope to pick up the series again with the Wilderness Years, and then going on to the new series. DJF Vlog says, favourite new Netflix show or film? I haven't been watching that much recently, although I did watch this documentary about, can I say that on YouTube? It's about a Class A drug that begins with a C, and it was a very insightful documentary into how said drug sort of decimated the United States in the 1980s, but really recommend that. Favourite now spin-off album from 2021. It's got to be Eurovision for me. Big Eurovision fan. And favourite now numbered album from 2021. I actually enjoyed the new one, Now 110. I think the track lister just has a better selection for me personally than 108 or 109. Max Jackson says, thoughts on The Bad Batch? I haven't watched it, which is really bad. I really need to finish Clone Wars and then Rebels or whatever it is. And which upcoming Star Wars TV shows are you looking forward to? You're looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and the Andor series. I haven't really been paying much attention to Star Wars as of recent, but the Obi-Wan series I'm definitely interested in. And the Clone Wars or Rebels? Well, I haven't seen any Rebels, but I have seen a bit of the Clone Wars, so I'll have to go with that. Ben Miller says, do you think Big Finish should put Martha Jones and Donna Noble up against the Cybermen? That would be really cool. I mean, they're probably going to cover every base at some point, as wonderful as Big Finish are, so I don't think that's going to happen in the Martha Jones box set that's coming out in December, but I'd be up for these crossovers. The Stylish One says, hopes for the next BBC One ident package. Just something that evokes more of a central theme. I know Oneness was like groups of people, but the concept for me just came across over as a bit dull. So I hope whatever they go for next year, it's just something a bit more enticing. And most surprised Big Finish audio you've heard. Probably Dalek Universe 1, when that dropped earlier this year. There was just lots of twists and turns. That's a great series, by the way. Highly recommend Dalek Universe. And the most overrated Big Finish audio you've heard. Overrated? I don't think I've come across one yet that I'd say is overrated as such, or there hasn't been one where I thought, oh, that's a bit overhyped for no reason, but if there is, I'll make it known. Manferro says, what's your favourite ident out of all the BBC Two Curve idents 2018 to present? If I'm honest, it's got to be their Christmas selection they've been doing this year so far. I might even do a little ident review Christmas thing on those, but yeah, I think they're quite gorgeous. Squall Rowlandson says, what would you think if the BBC did a BBC One balloon ident with the gogs? The gogs in it? What are the gogs? I mean, just if they did a BBC balloon ident again, that'd be a nice throwback. And what would you think of Doctor Who themed worlds in a Kingdom Hearts game? Again, interesting. Doctor Who with video games has been very hit or miss, but I'd be open to that personally. Ribbleye says, what do you think of the Weeknd song, Save Your Tears? I like it. I even like the remix with Ariana Grande, but I think I like the original slightly more. What do you think of the Doctor Who episode, The Runaway Bride? Yeah, really fun Christmas special. I loved it as a kid. I still love it now. It's a bit, you could argue it's a bit corny in places, but I love it. Perfect Christmas fun. And do you know that Justin Bieber is abusive to his partner and his family? Well, I did not know this. I don't really follow Justin Bieber outside of perhaps some of his latest music. But, I mean, I don't know how true that is. But if that is true, then that is horrific and he should be held accountable for it. Joseph Adams says, do you like Alfa Romeo Gelato car? I'm not a car guy at all as far as I'm concerned. If it's got 4 wheels and it moves, perfect. Do you think spending £50 worth of Doctor Who VHS? It depends how much you're getting. I'd say if it was like nearly every VHS release ever for 50 quid, that's a pretty decent bargain because VHS really isn't worth a great deal these days. I mean, I gave a lot of it away, but I acquired a lot of VHS for Doctor Who for a very cheap price. So yeah, don't go too crazy. And do you like Time After Time, the Mabel song? Has Mabel done a cover of Time After Time? I haven't heard Mabel's one. I like the Cyndi Lauper original. Dr. Floyd says, what are your thoughts on Dune if you've seen it? I haven't. I haven't seen the original film. I haven't seen this new one that's come out. I haven't read the book, so don't really have many thoughts on it. Sorry. Did you pick up the Essential Terrence Dicks books? I only have the first volume. I didn't know. I used to own a lot of those stories that are in those volumes as Target books. I've gotten rid of a lot of them now. But no, I didn't feel the need to go and grab them. But they look gorgeous. And are you getting a PS5 or Xbox Series XS? Not in the immediate future. I always have this with consoles. I think for the first year or 2 years, it's not really worth picking up for me because the games just aren't there. I mean, the PS4 came out in 2013. I got mine in 2019, so 6 years later. But I got it for a good price, so yeah, not immediately. I might just wait a few years. Joey Clark says, what are your initial thoughts about the cast for the Super Mario Bros. Movie coming out next December? Chris Pratt as Mario, I mean, I don't like to sort of prejudge before I see it, but I wasn't enamored with that choice. The rest of them, cool, fine with me. Would a Nintendo Cinematic Universe work in the future? Very possibly, but I'd be very surprised if that's what they were going for. And have you ever watched the controversial BBC mockumentary Ghostwatch? I haven't, but I've heard a lot of talk about it, so maybe I should delve into that. Hassan Junaid says, have you watched Squid Game? I've watched the first 3 episodes. I, for some reason, just haven't gotten around to the rest, so maybe I will one day. What's your favourite places to go? I love Lanzarote, that's a nice little retreat, and Australia, gorgeous country. Have you watched the Looney Tunes, the cartoon show? Oh yeah, as a kid I watched it a lot. I haven't watched it much recently, or all the various rebrands or spin-offs and stuff, but yeah, Looney Tunes is classic, man. The Kyle John 1 says, what's your favourite Disney Pixar film of all time? That's got to be A Bug's Life. It's one that not many people have at the top, but I just love it, man. Love everything about it. Have you seen the Christmas film It's a Wonderful Life? I have. Wonderful film by Frank Capra. Has James Stewart in it. Really uplifting, heartwarming, emotional. Highly recommend it, by the way, if you haven't seen it, especially at Christmas time. And do you remember Tamsin Griffin, who played Funny Lady in Teletubbies? No, sadly I do not. Joseph Bayless's Christmas Media Funhouse. What a name. Do you like poached, fried, boiled, or scrambled eggs? None of them, because I don't like eggs. Do you think there'll be another lockdown after Christmas? Hopefully not. It depends, I guess, information about this new variant and how many cases and how many hospitalizations or deaths we have, but hopefully not. But then, you know, if we have to, then so it must be. What's your opinion on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? And are you excited for Indiana Jones 5, which is coming in 2023? I was never really like a big Indiana Jones fan as a kid. I've seen them all now. I think the original trilogy is great fun. Crystal Skull is like okay, but put it this way, when I decided to get the movies on DVD, I just got the original trilogy. I don't own Crystal Skull, and I'm not really that excited for Indiana Jones 5, to be honest. Kyle Wright says, did you hear that someone did a death metal version of Frozen Let It Go on Britain's Got Talent once? I'm sure I've heard that before, but it's not springing to memory. Do you like Christmas pudding? Yeah, love a bit of Christmas pudding. Nice and tasty. And if you ever did any AMTV merch again, what would you bring out? I'm not too sure. I look at what some of my peers do. They've done like plastic button badges. They've done stickers. Well, I've done stickers as well. You know, just I'm not really sure because I guess when you do merch, as I learnt last time, you've got to hope that some people are gonna grab it, and obviously you don't want to necessarily lose money out on it. So yeah, I'm not sure, but maybe one day, eh? Maybe one day. Daniel Muppet Boy says, what would be your concept for a new BBC One ident series to replace Oneness? Just sort of what I said earlier, just something that has like a central theme, clear and defined, something that's can be varied, can have a lot of variations, something that can really be impactful, something really memorable, and not just people standing around. What is your favourite Martyn Lambie-Nairn piece of work, mainly ident? I think Martyn Lambie-Nairn's done so much great work. The Channel 4 logo, I mean, for one, is just the fact it's still being used 40 years later, that tells you something. And what is your favourite Wallace and Gromit short? Ooh, that's a good question. Out of the shorts, I do like... Gotta remember which one it is. I do like The Wrong Trousers. Probably The Wrong Trousers for me. Robtastic Productions says, what's your favourite Nintendo Switch game? My favourite Nintendo Switch game? That's... I flitter between different ones. You know, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. Is always up there. I've really been enjoying Metroid Dread. Still haven't finished it. WarioWare was pretty fun. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on there was actually pretty fun. But yeah, I wouldn't say I have like one defined favourite. Which Christmas programme are you looking forward to? I'm actually looking forward to checking out Around the World in 80 Days, the new David Tennant series, which I think premieres on Boxing Day, if I'm not mistaken. And have you seen or read any books or episodes of Agatha Raisin? No, I haven't. Are they any good? Hooks Media says, will the Sunday catch-up be a regular thing now, or just for Christmas? At the moment, I'm planning on it just being for Christmas. And having enjoyed this, I might do like specials here and there throughout next year, but yeah, don't hold your breath. At the minute, just for Christmas. Suradox 2001 says, what's your opinion on the Christmas special radio stations? I've never listened to them, so I don't really have much of a thought on them, I'm afraid. Do you know that BBC Three is going to come back as a TV channel in 2022? Yes, and all the better for it. And do you use BBC Sounds? I do occasionally. I'll often get recommended like documentaries or podcasts that I might have a passing interest in. And if I do, then I'll tune into BBC Sounds. But I don't use it like every day. Harvey Richards says, have you missed the Sunday catch-up? I haven't in a way. I have missed like answering your questions. It was always a very fun thing to do. It's a nice interaction I can have between you guys. But by the same token, when I retired it in February, I did want to do a lot of other things. And I'd like to think I've done that to some extent. But it is fun doing this again, which makes me think maybe I'll do it more as specials, but we'll see. And what is your opinion on the current situation involving the new variant? I just worry about saying it because you know what YouTube's like. At the minute, you know, it's still a bit unsure. We need a bit more information, I think. I think mask wearing should have remained compulsory from the summer. I don't think we ever should have scrapped it, to be honest. But hopefully things won't get out of control. Mr. Lule. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Is it Mr. Lule? I think so. What is your favourite Christmas ident from this year? I mean, the BBC One idents. I mean, you can watch the ident review on it, but I think they've smashed it out of the park. And are you a fan of the constant Christmas movies that they play on Channel 5? I don't really watch Channel 5, so, I mean, if people like it, go for it, but it's not for me. Jake the Robo Nerd says, what was the scariest movie or TV moment from your childhood? Oh, there's so many potentials. Scariest movie, TV moment from my childhood. Well, it wasn't the scariest, but the one I always remember because I find it quite funny. One of the first films I ever saw in the cinema was Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I was about 3 or 4. And there's a scene where Diesel 10, the bad train, chases, I think it's James, into like a red tunnel that's like all dark and full of steam. And that I cried. I had to come out of the cinema for that. And how many Doctor exhibitions have you been to? I've been to a few over the years. Did a few when I was a kid. I did the Doctor Who Experience in Cardiff. So I've dabbled. I've done a few. And favourite BBC Two show you enjoyed watching back in the 90s and 2000s? Ooh, didn't CBBC used to be part of BBC Two way back in the day? Not one springing to mind, I'm afraid. Matthew Payton says, what's your favourite Christmas present ever? Ooh, it depends. I mean, when I was a kid, probably, I think I mentioned last week, like getting the air hockey table or like the PlayStation 2, and that was a big thing. As an adult, it's more, you know, personal, sentimental things. I mean, like you can't, above me, my brother last year got me a BBC On Air sign. You've probably seen that in some videos. That was a really special gift. I've also mentioned my lovely girlfriend Rebecca got me the little jar of joy filled with lovely notes. So it's more like sentimental things or personal things rather than necessarily just materialistic things. And what do you think of this year's BBC One wrap? If you mean the idents, I think they're great. And do you like the Home Alone films? I've never seen any of them. That's bad, isn't it? Tuxified Art says, favourite Red Dwarf episode so far? I really enjoyed the quarantine episode. I know that's like a favourite for a lot of people. Tika to Ride as well, the opener for season 7 I really liked. And what would you name your first child if you ever decided to have one? Ooh, baby names. I have given it some thought, but nothing I'd be like super concrete on, so I'd be hesitant to say anything there. And most annoying Christmas movie you don't like seeing return? Oh, just any that are just bad, or well, I say bad. Any I don't enjoy, I should probably correct that. But none are springing to mind because I've probably erased them from my mind. Mario Bowser 494 says, my question is, what is your favourite Christmas film? It's a film called Grounded from 2006. It's about a bunch of kids who are stranded at an airport on Christmas Eve. It's really dumb, really cheesy, but a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Chestnut Bloke says, what are your thoughts on Sony acquiring Bad Wolf and how it could amplify the anticipation for Doctor Who Series 14? Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Sony has become the majority stakeholder in Bad Wolf, but I believe, unless I'm mistaken, that when Russell T Davies comes back to take over Doctor Who, it's going to be sort of a co-production between Bad Wolf and BBC Studios. I don't think it's solely Bad Wolf. I could be wrong, but that's just how I interpret it. But I mean, it's exciting. It might mean the show gets a bit more cash, and the show could always do with a bit more cash, but yeah, we'll see. What do you think would make a good Doctor Who companion? I'd like to see Rose Eiling Ellis. Sorry if I've got that wrong. Who's an EastEnders star and Oh, right, yes. Yes, Rose, for anyone who doesn't know, I believe, is deaf. I think she'd make a great companion. It'd be nice to have a companion or a lead in Doctor Who with a, some form of impairment. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, I'm visually impaired myself. But yeah, just nice to have that representation. And there's a lot of good actors out there. And when do you think the 14th Doctor will be announced? I'm hoping before 2021 is out. Well, if you remember back in Capaldi's time, Jodie was announced just before Capaldi's last episode. We've still got 3 episodes of Jodie left. They might announce it after the New Year's special, but hey, whenever it's out, it's out. We're all on our toes for it. Mitchell says, can you review the Paramount Pictures logo from 1986 to 2011? I mean, I could. Aren't they all pretty much the same thing, like the stars going around the mountain and stuff? But hey, never rule it out. And what is your favourite movie? It's got to be Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Brilliant film, expands on the original every way. It gets better every time I watch it, and I don't have that with many films at all, Philip Hawkins, my podcast co-host on Everybody's Dead Dave. Hello, mate. Talking of Christmas traditions, are there any your other half has that you're looking forward to embracing? And is there any of your families she said she likes the sound of? I think when we've talked about it, she likes the sound of the cinema trips and stuff on Christmas Eve. And yeah, any traditions that they have, I'm looking forward to embracing too. The hard thing is we're often both working on Christmas Eve as actors. It's getting very busy. The Original Being says, what have been the best films you've seen in 2021? The best films. I did enjoy Shang-Chi when I saw that, the new, one of the newest Marvel ones. What else? I'm trying to think what else I've seen. I don't really watch many. I didn't get to see many films in the cinema. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm seeing Spider-Man No Way Home next week, and that looks to be epic. And favourite Doctor Who VHS covers. A lot of the 7th Doctor ones, I think, are great. Survival, I love the artwork for that. Ghostlight as well. Time in the Rani, lots of great artworks there. Thomanori says, what is your favourite, or Tomanori, sorry, I should say, what is your favourite series on your channel? At the moment, it's probably History of Doctor Who viewing figures, just because of how much of a passion project that is and how much I'm just having fun with it. And what is your all-time favourite TV show apart from Doctor Who? It's varied over the years. I enjoyed things like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I enjoyed Merlin when that was on, but I say I don't have like a defined second, it changes all the time. Thomas Stevens says, top 3 favourite seasons of Doctor Who? Well, in classic, I'd say season 7, season 26, and season 25. Modern Who, series 8, series 9, and series 4, I'm going to say. Favourite Romana, I do love Lala Ward as the second Romana. I wish we'd seen more of Mary Tam, but I just love Lala Ward. And do you have a least favourite Doctor? No, because I think they're all brilliant, really. So, yeah, no least favourite here. Frontios101 says, if you played the Doctor, what would you wear in terms of clothes? Well, they always say, they try and bring a bit of yourself. I mean, when I'm out, not just dress like this. I mean, I could wear a coloured fleece or a sports jacket, couldn't I? That'd be novel. Probably like some sort of floral shirt. I do love a bit of velvet, though the Doctor's done velvet many times. But yeah, just something that represents me, which is something a bit flamboyant, a bit out there, but hopefully a bit unique too. And are you excited for Eve of the Daleks? I'm very excited for Eve of the Daleks. This whole time loop concept looks really interesting, so I'm curious to see how it plays out. And which Doctor Who fan film is your favourite that you've seen? I'm a bad fan here. I've not really watched many fan films. I did watch Echo's End, though, by The Confused Adipose. I highly recommend you check that out. Really great fan film. So at the minute, I'm going to say that. ADOF says, hi Adam, hope you're well. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you too. Do you enjoy live music in pubs and gigs? Yes, I do. I don't often go out of my way to see them, but when they're there, I do actually really enjoy it a lot. And what's your favourite rock and metal song? I wouldn't have one clearly defined one, though. I've been listening a lot to Metallica's Nothing Else Matters recently. I'm not sure why. But I do love that song. And what do you think about the Adult Swim bumpers? I think they're interesting. I haven't seen them. I think I've heard about these before, but no, I would have to see them. Doctor Who Vicky, funnily enough, says thoughts on Vicky. Vicky is a companion who I'm enjoying more when I listen to her on Big Finish. I'm listening to a lot of the early Adventures range, and Maureen O'Brien does a great job of expanding Vicky's character. One release I recommend in particular is the Crash of the UK 201, which sort of explores Vicky's past and alternate timelines. It's really good. Good story. Liam Reed says, since you really like Christmas, doesn't that make you a secularist rather than an atheist? I've never heard that term, secularist. Is that like I enjoy Christmas even though it's a religious holiday? To be clear, I enjoy like the aspects of Christmas, like, you know, people coming together and sharing gifts with loved ones and just the spirit of it all. Like, not necessarily the religious connotations, but hey, if that makes me a secularist by definition, then fair enough. I suppose so. Yvonne Okafor says, what do you think RTD will do with Doctor Who when he takes over? I just think, as always, he'll put his own stamp on it. I think he'll do things that will reflect current socio-political stuff of the time, just as he did back in the mid-2000s. I think he'll have a lot to give to it now that he's come back to it like 10 years on. I'm hyped for it. Do you think Xmas will be normal this year, unlike last year? Well, at the minute, it looks like it's going to be, but I mean, at the time I'm recording this, there's still a few weeks to go, so who knows what can change, but hopefully it will. And when you see going to do the new Who ratings videos, you cannot wait for the 90s Doctor Who ratings video. It'll probably be sometime in 2022. I haven't got a concrete date yet for when I want to get the show back, but yes, I will be doing the Wilderness Years, the McGann TV movie, the rest of the Wilderness Years, and then the new series. The BBC One 2021 logo fan says, is there going to be a volume 3 of Video Scaries at Christmas? There might be. That is the plan. I do want to get a Video Scaries out. At the minute, it hasn't been done due to various factors, but I do want to try and get one out, so fingers crossed. Milky Shake says, have you watched the Horrid Henry TV show? If so, what do you think? I grew up with the show and still love it to this day. I don't understand why people hate it now. I think I saw a few episodes, but for me, I grew up on the books, so I never really watched the TV show. I think by the time the TV show came out, I was a bit too old for it as well. But yeah, the books, always a classic. And can you do an unboxing for Between Us by Little Mix, as it's been announced that they're splitting up? I don't think they're splitting up. I think they've just said they're taking a break for now. I've got the vinyl, the standard vinyl of Between Us, but I don't think it'd be very interesting unboxing, but it's a good album. And have you heard that Piers Morgan's Life Stories is ending after 12 years? Oh no. Oh dear. I'm so sad. You know, I love Piers Morgan. That was sarcasm, by the way. I hate Piers Morgan. He's an awful human being. Junior Home Entertainment says, do you think the 13th Doctor regenerates in Eve of the Daleks? No, I think that she'll regenerate on her last special, which is in October of 2022. What Doctor Who Christmas special is your favourite? Twice Upon a Time. Beautiful. And do you think there should be another Doctor Who feature film with the Doctor at the time? And do you think it'll make money? Well, they've never done that. I mean, the 60s Dalek movies didn't have William Hartnell, but if they did do that, I think it'd make some money. I don't know how successful it'd be, and like, should you use the incumbent Doctor, or I just don't think a Doctor Who feature film is really going to happen as a conventional feature film. Woody N4 says, seeing as how you're into 90s dance, besides Rhythm as a Dancer, do you have any other dance songs you like from that decade, as well as that said song? Oh, I mean, the example you gave is one of them. Born Slippy by Underworld, great tune. Mr. Vane by Culture Beats. A lot of the Snap have done, to be honest. I just like a lot of Eurodance. And did you know that I was actually JTL Productions' real-life friend when I met him at school? Oh, that's cool. Nice when you can meet people from online in real life that you've developed a bond with. And if you're into magazines, do you have a favourite magazine? I'm not really anymore. I used to collect Doctor Who magazine, but I've dropped off on that now. I only get the odd issue if there's something I'd like to read about it. Doctor Who's Magical Entertainment says, favourite Doctor and Master? Peter Capaldi and I'm going to say Michelle Gomez. The more I watch her, the more I love her. And favourite episode story from each Doctor? That would take... I think that's a video in itself. I think I actually make that a video in itself, because that'd be really interesting. And favourite Red Dwarf episode in the series so far? I answered that a bit earlier, so it's going to be either Quarantine or Ticket to Ride for me. Clack of the Geek says, who do you think is the most festive of the Doctors? Probably Jodie. She's just really like fun and all about that spirit. I know she hasn't had like a Christmas special, but I imagine if she did, it'd be so joyous. And how would you rank the James Bond actors? Oh, I don't know about ranking them, although my favourite is Daniel Craig. I think he's gorgeous for one, but he's also a very good actor. And favourite crisps? Anything prawn cocktail, like prawn cocktail Pringles. Or they used to do, wheat crunchies they used to do, I think it was spicy tomato, but you never see those anymore, but they were good. LJA says, did you know all Channel 4 channels went off the air for a few hours on the 25th of September 2021? I heard about this, and it damaged the subtitle thing, didn't it? I didn't see it live, but I heard it happened. And can you review the KISS TV, a Box Plus Network 2017 idents? I'll check them out, for certain. And do you agree that it's a bad idea having turn up the hits at 6 a.m. every morning on box hits? It's too early to have TVs on loud volume. Should a 5 p.m. slot be needed? I mean, if it is like loud banging tunes, then yeah, probably, rather than 6 a.m. God. Tim Goodwin, Live and Kicking or SMTV Live? I'm only going to say SMTV Live because that was the one I have vague memories of. Have you heard of a band called The Streets? I have. I've not really listened to any of their stuff, though. And should Doctor Who be back on Christmas Day? Yes and no. I mean, they were fun to like gather around on Christmas Day to watch, but I did get a bit bored of like every or most of them having a tie to Christmas. I know it because it's Christmas special, but I kind of like having them on New Year's too. Amazing Aisha, sorry. Do you like modern music? I do. Not all of it, but there are some chart hits I like in particular. Toshiba Fans and More says, have you watched a BBC One, BBC Two breakdown technical fault on TV, not online? I don't think I've seen one happen on live TV. That would be cool to see, though. And what are your thoughts on BBC Three returning as a channel? Yeah, excited. I think it'll be great. Hopefully it might reinstall some of that, young adult user base, but we'll see. And can you do an ident review on some CBeebies idents? I've dabbled with that, but some of them I don't think are particularly that interesting. But, never say never. And James Delaney says, have you seen the Boss Baby films? I have not. No interest in them, really. And that is all your questions this week. Thank you very much for asking them. As always, if you want your questions answered, leave them in the comments down below, and they'll be answered in next week's Sunday Catch-Up. Again, I really hope you've enjoyed this. It's been, already it's been a lot of fun to do, a lot of fun to answer your questions again. And yeah, I'm just having a ball, man. I'm just having a grand old time. So thank you very much for asking them. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Get your questions down below. Do subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.